I'm going to need all of you black men out there who are constantly talking to and about single black mothers to really watch yourself. And this video is inspired because you guys know this, that I'm someone who is very active on the online community. I stay in these Twitter streets. I stay in these Clubhouse streets. I stay in these Facebook streets. I stay in these Instagram streets. I'm someone who enjoys watching and listening to the conversations taking place among, on the black side of these various social media websites, right? And I understand that social media is not a decent reflection of the overall sentiments among black people, but I do believe you can kind of get a good read on what young black people are thinking about certain issues. And let's be honest, the youth are the future. And so the way they think and they talk about certain things, that can kind of give you a good insight into where things are headed, right? And so to the black dudes out there that are constantly railing against single mothers, right? Some of y'all need to stop, right? And I say this because I am someone who actually believes that we should be able to have conversations about issues openly that are actually productive. And the way you dudes are going about your business is the opposite of productive. And let me explain why. Okay? So, is single motherhood an issue in the African American community? Yes, it is. Now, I believe that, especially when it comes to the political discourse, I believe, Republicans and conservatives, I think Republicans and conservatives, they overestimate the impact that has on our community. And I believe that Democrats and liberals, they underestimate the impact that it has on our community, right? It's a problem, in my opinion, and based off of any kind of, studies or, statistics that you read, it's a big problem. But it's not the only problem. Now, to the dudes that I'm having an issue with, here's the thing. A lot of you guys talk to and about single black mothers in such a disgusting manner that I can tell that you don't actually want to help these women. See, most of y'all, and I do think it's most of you, you hide behind criticism. All y'all really want to do is make these women feel bad about their current predicament. And so you try to hide behind, hey, I'm just criticizing because I want to help you. I'm saying these things because I love you. Don't worry about my tone or how I'm saying certain things because it's my message that should really matter. And I totally disagree. Totally disagree. The way you deliver information does matter. How you say certain things does matter. Now, I'm someone who prides myself that I've, graduated to the level where I can receive information regardless of how it's delivered usually, right? And so if someone is saying it to me lovingly, if someone is saying it to me with a bunch of curse words and it's kind of violent and aggressive, I can receive the information either way. But guess what? I'm the exception. For the overwhelming majority of people, how you say certain things matters just as much as what you're saying, just as much as when you're saying it. Timing matters as well. And so all of these things have to be taken into account when you are dispersing and delivering information. And so if you really want to help single mothers, guess what, brothers? You have to speak to them in a way in which they're going to receive it. And so why should they listen to anything you have to say when you're coming at them just to beat them down all the time? You're coming at them just to make them feel bad about themselves. And yes, you guys are doing it. Now, my theory on this is simple. I believe a lot of you guys that do come after single mothers, you're doing it to make them feel bad about themselves because of your own issues that you have to resolve between you and your mother, right? Now, I'm going to make a video on this in the future about the problems between, black mothers and their sons that rarely get discussed, that need to be discussed because a bunch of you dudes are hiding that pain. And this isn't me making fun of you. It isn't, because healing from that pain is very important. If you don't heal from that pain, then, to a certain degree, your relationships with women, whether they be romantic, sexual, platonic, will be constrained because you're carrying this baggage from childhood because your mother mistreated you and you've never come to terms with how you should navigate in the future. And so it's a real problem. It's an actual problem that we need to discuss. Okay? But a lot of you guys don't want to help these women. You're just beating them down. Now, that's one section of men. There's another section of men who actually do want to help, that do genuinely want to help these women out, that do genuinely want to fix this problem in the black community. You guys just have a fucked up delivery. Okay? And so what you need to do, you need to remember that people, generally speaking, want to be talked to in a manner that is respectful, that comes across as loving, if you are trying to help them better themselves. I always give the movie theater example, right? And this is kind of something that I made up in my mind, right? So you go to the movies, you get there, you buy your popcorn and your candy and your drinks. All right, you're excited. You know, so a new movie is out. You and your girl, you go there, you sit down, and behind you, or maybe 2 or 3 rows behind you, there's like a row of like 4 teenagers just being obnoxious, straight assholes. You know, cursing, laughing, talking loudly, and it's bothering the whole theater. Because let's be clear, that stuff bothers the whole theater, but no one has the balls to do anything about it. And so what happens is you just sit there, and let your movie get ruined, right? Now, you get up, you decide in yourself, you know what, I'm going to get up and I'm going to address these teenagers because I would like them to stop to enjoy my movie, right? So that's your motive. So you get out of your seat, you go back 3 or 4 rows to where the teenagers are, and then you start interacting with them, right? Now, there are 2 possible interactions. Interaction 1, you say, "Hey guys, look, I get it. I used to be young. I understand that you guys are out trying to have a good time, but guess what? You guys are disturbing the movie for everyone else. So can you please lower it down or be quiet? Just please, thank you." And then walk away, right? That's one option. Option number 2 is, "Dude, can y'all please shut the fuck up, please?" Now, which one of these options do you think will lead to the solution that you want? Option A, respectful, saying please, engaging with them on their level, or B, telling them to shut the fuck up. We all know option A is the way to go if you actually want them to be quiet. In fact, option B would not only ensure that they don't be quiet, but it raises the probability that now you have to deal with a level of violence if they decide to get aggressive with you. You can make the argument that, they could get violent with you if you choose option A. That's a possibility, but I think we will all kind of agree that option A is the best option given the scenario. What's the point of that analogy? How you do things matters. So even if the person in the scenario wanted them to be quiet by telling them to shut the fuck up, we agree that saying that is almost counterproductive. How you do things matters, fellas. How you do things matters. It matters. It matters. And so for the second group of men who actually want to help, remember this movie theater scenario that I gave you. Whenever you try to engage with, whether it be, single mothers, black women in general, other black men who you're trying to, correct their behavior, always remember this because it is very important. If you can remember the scenario that I've just given you, you should change entirely the way you talk to single mothers. Say, you know what? I understand, what you're going through. And guess what? No woman wants to be a single mother most of the time. The overwhelming majority of women with children who are single mothers did not plan on being single mothers in the first place. Could they have chosen wrong? Absolutely. Should they have been on birth control? Absolutely. Should they have gotten married first? Absolutely. But guess what? The kid is here now. You are trying to help them change their ways, or you're trying to tell the next generation of women how they should move. All that cursing them out and calling them hoes and saying this is why you should have kept your legs closed. That crass, vulgar language. No one is going to listen to that. No one is going to be receptive to that. And you guys know, I don't mean literally no one, but you understand what I'm trying to say. Most women are not going to be receptive to that information if you are delivering it that way. And to be quite honest, most of you dudes don't want to help. You want them to feel bad about themselves. But guess what? That's fucked up too. Because where they are at now in their life is where they're at. You have to meet people where they're at. They can't change the past. They can't take the child and abort it now. It's here already. So try to help them where they are. Try to help them move differently in the future, lovingly. If you love them. If you truly care about them, say it caringly. But most of y'all don't. You want to feel better about yourself. And to you dudes, I see you. I see you. Most men see you. And you guys are just as problematic as white supremacists. You guys are, for me, you're just as problematic as abusers, rapists, pedophiles. Because you're beating up women who are in a rough spot in their life for your own pleasure. And I don't wish you brothers any pain or anything, because like I said, I think you guys need to heal as well, right? Because, you're carrying your trauma. Which leads to my last point, which is maybe a lot of you dudes should kind of get your own house in order before you try to correct the behaviors of single mothers, right? I heard a woman say this one time, which is, that everywhere you see a single mother, there's a father who is not around, or at the very least, a father who, for some reason, is not living in the house with his children. And, we like to go to that study that says that black fathers are the most active fathers. And I'm going to get into that study in a video later on as well, because that has been mischaracterized as well. You can't replace being in the household, right? Because guess what? Resources are now divided. Your presence is divided. Your time is divided. It's not the same. It will never be the same. It's why when we look at the data, we see that when a father is absent from his house, that the children, especially the male ones, suffer incredibly under those circumstances. Women, because of nature, we see their baggage. And so we see them with the kid because, quite frankly, they can't go anywhere. Fathers can go. They can leave. And look, that's just one of the unfair burdens of being a woman, right? There are advantages and disadvantages of both sexes, if we're keeping it real, all right? That is one disadvantage. And so we can see their fuck ups because the kids are around. They have to be around. But there's dudes out there with a bunch of kids scattered around, no child support, no financial support at all, no emotional support, no guidance to these children at all. Their baggage, you can't see their baggage. And so a bunch of you dudes, you got just as much baggage, if not more baggage than these single mothers. We just can't see your dirt. But I see you. And so you don't get a pass from me. And I'm not going to allow you guys to just speak to these women any type of way to make yourselves feel better. Handle your own shit. There's a great gospel song that goes, sweep around your own front door before you try to sweep around mine. And if we all did that, the community, the black community, would be a much better place. If we all swept around our own front door before we try to sweep around the doors of single mothers, the doors of the drug dealers, the doors of the pimps, the doors of the abusers. Yes, we have to sweep around those houses eventually. But guess what? Your house has a bunch of dust and dirt and shit in it too. Take care of it, please. So that's what I wanted to say to the single mothers out there. I got to keep it real. I believe single motherhood is a detriment to the black community, especially if you have a male child. That's just what I feel like. That's how I feel, and it's backed by multiple studies, a bunch of data that we have on the detriment. But you are worthy of love. You are worthy to be respected. You are worthy of kindness. You are still worth something. You are not worth less. You're not. Because yes, you're a mother, a single mother, but you're also you. You're also whatever your career is, you are that as well. You are a lawyer, you are a doctor, you are a school teacher, you are I don't care. You are a cashier at a Target or whatever. Your life is worth something because you're worthy. And so we really do have that conversation that people will be receptive to, right? And if you can't do that, fellas, then don't have the conversation. Leave it to the men like me, the black men like myself, who can have these conversations and actually get us somewhere. Because you dudes are just making it harder for women to listen to us, because when y'all fuck up, it reflects negatively on all of us. All right? And so that's where I want to land. Thank you for watching my video. Comment down below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? I will see you guys next time. Deuces.